and welcome to seispingüinos.com Instrumentopedia. This is a space where we look at different instruments from around the world. And today we're looking at the romantic guitar. Now, is this a romantic guitar or not? This could be debatable. There seems to be a lot of confusion on internet as to what is a romantic guitar, what is a parlor guitar, what is an antique classical guitar. Well, the parlor guitar is easy because the parlor guitar is smaller. It has a much smaller body than this. It was designed for ladies entertaining their guests in their parlor. In this case, for example, we have two guitars. They look very, very similar. This is a modern Manuel Rodriguez Spanish classical guitar, and this is a late 19th century, I would call it a romantic guitar. What is the difference? Well, you'll see that this is much thinner, it has a slightly smaller body, and it also has a slightly shorter scale length. So the modern guitar has a scale length of 65 centimeters. The old romantic guitars typically have a scale length of 63 centimeters, though this isn't always the case. If you look inside the guitar, this has what is called ladder bracing, so it has three struts of wood supporting the soundboard. This is very typical of romantic guitars from France or Germany, Vienna or Italy. In Spain, back at that time, they were already using what is called the fan bracing, where it should have bits of wood coming out in different directions here. And this is what they use nowadays on almost all modern classical guitars. In terms of wood, the guitars back in the late 19th century were very typically made of maple. It's a very, very beautiful warm wood. This is maple, and this is probably, I'm guessing, spruce, a spruce top. Has a very ornate bridge here, and the strings are held in by pins, so they're not tied onto the bridge as in a modern guitar. Apart from that, there aren't many differences. In terms of sound, the romantic guitar does have a beautiful sound. It's not quite as strong, the sustain isn't so big, but it is a wonderful warm sound. If we compare that to the modern guitar, okay, it has a much bigger sound, but depending on the music you're playing, this isn't always a good thing. The six-string guitar, well, it was developed in the 18th century. There were lots of different types of guitars with different numbers of strings, but by 1790 the six-string guitar was becoming dominant, and they were being made, as I said, all over Europe. And the early romantic guitars are generally thought of those built between 1790 and 1830, 1850 perhaps. And you have the big names like Lacotte, Stauffer, Panormo. But in the later half of the 19th century, which is from when this guitar probably is, the guitars were really becoming more and more like the modern guitar. And so this would be a kind of, if you like, a post-romantic guitar, might be more precise. Anyway, I think this guitar was probably made in Germany, but I don't know. The stamp inside it is so faded that you can't read it at all. And this is what it sounds like. I'm going to play a very simple 18th century tune, Country Dance. romantic guitar.